With New Year's festivities and the main tournament circuits of both the Japanese version and the English version of Cardfight Vanguard coming to a close, this month did not give us too many results. I think this might actually be the one month that gave the least results ever, because generally with competitive wrap-ups, I don't like to talk about tournaments where I know, let's say, the top 4, but I don't have the deck list because then I don't really have anything to show, and then it's kind of like eh. So I have quite a few of those, but it's not really something I would want to share because there aren't any deck lists. An example is one of the ARGs, which happened in January, and then the ARG website for some reason deleted all the deck lists, so I can't show those. So it's a bit unfortunate, but we're gonna make do with what we have, and we did have both the WGP and the Bushiroad World Championship concluding this month, so there will be quite a bit of discussion to make, so I'm sure we're still gonna have enough to talk about. So let's get on to the month of January, and well, we've got the majority of our results coming from Japan this time, and the only Western result that I have decklist for is the Bushiroad World Championship Finals. But let's begin with the Kanto VGCS, which was one of the major tournaments for January, and I'm going to pop a picture of the tournament right now because it looked really good, and I retweeted some pictures on Twitter as well, so it looks really nice, and I'm generally happy with how big the tournament looked. But anyway, let's get on to the deck lists. So the first place team is quite an interesting combination in sense of what one of the members is. The first one of which is this Time Leap deck, which, you know, we're all very familiar with. And it's a very standard one, although I see there's a bit more Zodiac Time Beast in there now than usual, I guess you could say. Like, he's actually running, well, this player is actually running the Gear Groovy, so that's a little bit of a fresh change. And then the other not so surprising list from this team is this Night Rose deck. So again, you know, Night Rose is it's a very strong deck actually. Like, now that 2 of my teammates play the deck, I have so many chances to play against it, and we can see it's a pretty standard lineup. Only 5 grade 3s, most of them run 6 or 7, but 5 is understandable too. So, you know, this is still pretty standard, but the anomaly of this team is this Glendios Freeze Ray list. Now, you might be very excited, you might be screaming in your chair looking at this list, because, you know, it's Glendios is Freeze Ray in one deck. Let's count how many grade 3s is this? This is a total of 16 grade 3s, so very nice. Both starters, a Doxic, and just in general, such a varied deck list, isn't it? But there's one catch to it. It went 2-5 from this team. So this deck was this player was highly carried by their teammates who were playing Night Rose and Time Leap, who were very, you know, understandable choices. Well, this person did manage to get 2 wins out of 7 games. So, you know, it's interesting, but it's sadly not the most reliable thing. Moving along to the second place team, we have this Time Leap list. Once again, nothing too surprising here, although only 1 upstream, which is a bit strange to see. Usually you would see more upstreams, but it looks like he kind of values the late blazer a bit more, so that is understandable. The second player of that team is once again something fresh to see in, well, Blade Wings. Is essentially Blade Wings, but obviously he does have the 4 Were Tigers, and like the Were Tiger just changes the deck entirely. So, you know, without Were Tiger, the deck, it really isn't that strong. So, and it only runs 1 PG as well. So hopefully we get Were Tiger soon in English, but for now it's going to be a Japan only deck. And the third player of that team is nothing too surprising. It is a Night Rose deck with 5 grade 3s and the 4 Cannoneers and stuff like that. So it's very standard and, you know, just the usual strong Night Rose build. And the third place team, the first player is big surprise. It is Time Leap, this time with 3 10k vanillas. You know, I'm just trying to find something unique about them at this point. And then this second one is a very standard one in my opinion, because it runs the Grenache as a starter. It has a 6 grade 3, so this is kind of the most standardized build I feel for Night Rose, and I do really like the deck as well, but you know, everybody kind of has a couple twists on it, but it's still very nice to see. And finally, this is a Sanctuary Guard deck post the restriction list in Japanese. So here, Sanctuary Guard Dragon is restricted in Japanese. He is not in English, so therefore they still run 4 grade 3s, but the Sanctuary Guard Dragon is only a 1 of, and everything else is kind of still similar as it was before. Next up is the Mao Cup, and this was a single player tournament. So the winner was this Sanctuary Guard deck that you're seeing right now. So again, it's pretty standard now post restriction list. So again, the 3 of the new Sanctuary Guards and 1 Sanctuary Guard Dragon. So it's not too super surprising. Again, 16 crits as we keep on seeing. And there's a 2 Starlight Violinist, which I'm seeing is a bit more of a recent addition than it was before. So there's that. And then the second place is, you know, not the biggest surprise, it is Time Leap. And the last result, sadly, I only have the first, like, a very incomplete pair of results, and this is the Ageland, or Ageland, I guess Ageland VGCS, and I only have the first place team's first and second deck list. So this first one is a Time Leap one, and, you know, again, nothing too surprising. It's kind of sad to be going through these and have nothing much to say about them. Although this one has run 5 10k vanillas, which is, you know, I never saw anybody push past 4, so I guess this is something a little bit surprising. And the second player of that team is a much nicer deck list to look at, and is Asha. So this is one of the updated Asha deck lists, so it's, you know, for those of you Asha players or people that are waiting for Tri 3 next to come out in English, this might be something that you could look at. And the final piece of Japanese result is the WGP Finals. So, I'm gonna go over the top 4, but sadly they're not too diverse, but, you know, we're gonna go over them anyway. First place is Time Leap, so nothing too, you know, too amazing here. Although he does run the 4 Clock Fencers, which is something that we don't see that much, so props to that. Second place, once again, who can guess it? It's Time Leap, so nothing too amazing here either. I'm sorry to be putting it this way. Third place is not exactly grade 1 7Cs, but rather the kind of like the 7Cs that kind of waits until they can smash the grade 3 and just win on that turn type of thing, but it still does run the 4 Night Runner. This is obviously before the restriction list. And then fourth place is everybody's best friend, Time Leap, and this one does run the 1 Bali, so it's kind of a interesting choice. So yeah, that's it for the WGP. And now it's time for my personal bias to shine through all the way. We have the Bushiroad World Championship Finals results. So, a lot of us watch the finals on the Fresh live stream. If I can find a link, I'll drop it in the description. It shouldn't be too hard, so hopefully as I'm uploading this, I will put it in there. But this is going to be, well, we're going to go over all top 4. Sadly, the website only shows top 3, but we'll go over 4 because the 4th deck list is the one that everybody's screaming about. So, in first place, we have Daniel Middlesworth with the 7Cs deck list, or well, 7 runner. And now this one doesn't even run G units. Like, usually when you see grade 1 7Cs, you know, they run some G units, at least 2 or 4 or 6, maybe 8, you know, to at least maybe G assist if it's necessary. But this one, no. The 1 grade 3, 8 grade 2s, a million grade 1s, and then obviously the 4 Night Runners. And he also run Gina, which is interesting. But, you know, this feels like it's already been a while ago, but it hasn't been that long ago that the BWC concluded. So, yeah, grade 1 7Cs did win Worlds, and I know there's a lot of mixed emotions, but I don't really want to bring that back up because, you know, it might just cause a bunch of drama to happen. But, you know, it's how the game works. Bushiroad did take action against it, so I am happy to see that. But let's move over to second place, which is Andy Lowe, who did come second with 7 runner, and this time with a proper, well, you know, an actual G zone, so that's very nice to see, even has the 4 gouache, because with this deck, like, he runs the 6 grade 3s, it's not going to be just, you know, even though we call this grade 1 70s, it's not really grade 1 70s, it's more like the, what like people call 7 runner more, not just grade 1 70s, but just the kind of deck that explodes on the Plegaton ride, so it's kind of a different deck, so it does end up striding, so, you know, it's a bit different, and, you know, it's not just the basics grade 1 7Cs deck that we keep on seeing, it's actually a little bit of a fresh take. So, you know, I am happy for Andy for coming second, and, you know, congratulations. But I'm sorry that my bias is gonna come in very strong now, because my boy OG Chen, Liu Bo Chen, came third with his Thingsaver Sanctuary deck. Everybody was so happy with this. Like, here in Europe we were celebrating, and I was at a little tournament with where Liu Chen was at just, well, as I'm recording this, just last weekend. But I got to play against another player that will play the exact same deck, and I managed to, you know, with my little D-Robos, I managed to survive the triple Think Saver, the triple critting Blaster Blade restanding turn, and you know, this deck is so strong, and I'm very happy about it because this is something that's kind of like a personal touch of Europe, and I'm very happy about this because this is something that was kind of, you know, everybody was playing Sanction Guard, and then Think Saver kind of started becoming a thing in Europe. Like more people played Think Saver in Europe, and then it just kind of went from there. And then Liu put in the Sanction Guards, and at first, you know, myself included, a bunch of people were like, "Wait, why would you mix the two?" But then it ended up, you know, going second at Continentals in Europe and now going third in World Finals. So I'm very proud of Liu, and I'm so happy that he managed to do this well. You know, everybody roots for their own favorite players, their own friends going to the BWC. But for me, you know, Liu was the one I was really rooting for, and I woke up really early on the day of Worlds just to watch the live stream and see how Liu was doing. And then when he announced that he went to top 4, I was so happy because there was a chance that, you know, if Liu won his top 4 match and the 4th place player won his top 4 match, we would have the best finals ever. This is very biased, I know, and I apologize for that, but I was really looking forward to that, and I really made it clear on Twitter. But yeah, so I'm just very happy with Liu's achievement, and I think it's a very nice thing to see at the World Finals, so I'm very proud. And the next person that I'm very proud of is Richard Doan, who came 4th place with Victor. I really like the Victor deck. It's not my main deck, although some people think it is, but you know, as much as I dedicate myself to playing D-Robos at tournaments, Victor is one of my favorite decks, and this is again a little personal twist of his, because nobody, from what I've seen, apart from him and people that have copied him, play Starlight Hedgehog. This is such an interesting little take, and I'm so thrilled to see Victor doing so well. Like, this is before GBT10, obviously, but it's just such a nice thing to see. And you know, we saw him playing on the stream, and he was having fun, and he was, you know, like, he was being the people's champ. He was being, you know, energetic and, you know, kind of entertaining people on stream, and it was overall very fun to watch. So huge congratulations to Richard as well, and to bring this Victor deck all the way. As soon as he made to top 4, a little piece of trivia, the price of the grade 3 Victor actually shot up for like a good 20 minutes, and then it fell back down again. But it was very funny to see, as like this kind of, there was like this hype reaction. So overall, huge congratulations to Richard. You know, there's not too much to talk about his deck, because it's pretty much it's a very similar one, if not the exact same of what he used in Continentals. So, you know, overall, very nice and very surprising, and I'm very happy for Richard that he made this kind of result. So that's actually it for both the BWC, for the WGP for this year. The World Championship Spring Circuit will be starting soon in the English format, and you know, for the Japanese format there will be some results happening here and there as well, and there are some interesting VGCSs happening in February as well, and I might be commentating one of them, so look out for that in the future. But for now, this is it for me. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.